Hello, friends. This is Alia Jamal, the love coach, coming here live for another love circle. And today we are talking about, I'm just going to adjust this camera a little bit. Today we are talking about creating healthy boundaries. And if you have been a minute in the field of self-development, or you've been working on yourself, or you've been working on healing yourself, you might have come across this concept of boundaries. You might have read numerous books on this topic. But you might learn something different today because I start everything from within out. So let's see how well I can explain to you what healthy boundaries can be and how can you create boundaries that actually last. And that is not something a wall you created, somebody came and punched through it, and now it's on the floor, and then you're rebuilding it and you're getting frustrated with yourself. That is what happens when we try to live life outside of us. But I will be sharing with you how to live from within and how to create something that can actually last beyond somebody else's attack on you. So first thing we want to talk about, what is a boundary? Boundary, if we, just look at dictionary definition, it's like, creating something around you, or a structure that protects the other structure, something along those lines. But I want you to look at yourself as a vessel. Let's say you are a glass, and water that is within that glass is yourself. That is the higher self, that is the lower self, whatever you want to call, that is you. That's your identity, your self-worth, whatever. But the glass is the boundary. So the word I will be using is the vessel that you are, that holds you within. Now, the boundary that is around you, when someone violates it, you feel hurt, you feel triggered. So what happens? We try to create another wall that pushes them out. But the secret to creating lasting boundaries is creating a vessel that no one can punch through. So I'll say it again. The secret to creating lasting boundaries is creating a vessel from the level of material, or the kind of material that is unpunchable. That is what a real boundary is. And where do you reinforce it? Always the reinforcement happens from inside out. If you are reinforcing that vessel from inside, it is going to protect you more than from the outside. So I am going to show you how to create a level of vessel that becomes unpunchable. Because when we talk about boundaries, boundaries are not something we create with other people. Boundaries are something we create with ourselves, within ourselves. And that is the missing link in most of the things even I learned in the beginning, because I remember it was, I believe, April 2020. That is when the first time I was talking about this word boundary, and I was like, I understand when it comes to stranger, but when it comes to the marriage that I was leaving, I had no idea what the word boundary even meant and what it is and how to shift it, how to change it. So there was a huge learning curve that took me a while to learn and master. But the reason I'm able to keep those intact boundaries, because they got created within me. I didn't have to cut off with somebody. I didn't have to call and yell at somebody. I didn't have to blame anybody. I don't have to judge anybody. So I'll be sharing those secrets with you today. And I am trusting they are going to be life-changing for you, but it is going to be internal work. So in my world, you can create healthy boundaries when you move beyond judgment for yourself and for others. When you get to that level, that is when you create boundaries that become unpunchable, unbreakable, whatever the word you want to use. That is the level of consciousness. I understand it takes time to get to that level. It requires getting some external help. You can always reach out to me. That is my specialty, working on your inner world and your relationship with yourself. But it does require putting more than, oh, I read a book and I watched a video or even watching this. So that is the work you will be doing, but I'll be showing you what you can do right now to create that so you don't stay stuck. The first thing we want to do, we want to learn how to define the boundaries of my container, the lines around my container. I'll take you through an exercise where you can actually feel your energy field. So when it gets penetrated by another person's energy, you can at least tell the difference. Most of us, we have been living so attached to other people, especially in our siblings, within our families. We're so intermingled with each other, and we're like, oh, this is so good. We're such a tight-knit family that we don't even know where I end and the other person start. Generally, the idea that is taught is we are a family as a unit. That is a very toxic, and I think the word is um, paralyzing idea that gets taught in most communities. A healthy one is I am a unit and then I am an individual as well. How can I keep the balance? I'm an individual and I am a unit. Some people go to I am a unit. I don't know who I am outside of it. Some people go to I'm an individual. Everybody stay away from me. A healthy balance is I can be a unit with my family, but I also know who I am outside of that. That is learning and digging deeper into who you are if you are not one with your family. Who is that individual? Who is that being that's living through you? So when we learn how to differentiate that, that is when we can tell, oh, I end here and the other person is starting here. So if this line is getting violated, oh, now my boundary is getting violated and I need to do something about it. And how you're going to do something about it if you know where you are and who you are. Most of us, we live, think the way our siblings or our parents are, so we don't even know who we are, what we are. So when our siblings or our parents, they are imposing their ideas, or when the society is imposing their ideas on you, that is when we feel hurt and we feel like our boundaries have been violated. But if we are so centered in who we are because we have done that self-discovery work, then their comments don't bother us. And I can tell you, I'm a walking testimony of that. On regular basis, I do tick people off based on how I look, how I dress, what I share, because it is challenging them. So when they send their fears or their stresses my way, because I know who I am. I know the path is a path I am walking on. I don't get disturbed by it. So that is a boundary I have created within me where I become somebody whose boundary can't even be violated anymore. And of course, if there is crazy things going on, we can take physical actions about it. Um, One of the telltale sign where you're bound, like, the boundary between you and the other people, a person is very weak when you keep thinking about them, when you keep complaining about them, and when you keep having an argument in your head and all the time you're winning in that argument. And those are the things you cannot say to their face. So right there, my friend, who violated the boundary within you? You did. So it's not other people who violate your boundaries. You violate them because you're inviting in that moment this other person in your energy field. You are pulling on to their energy. You're saying, hey, come, come, come. I'm free. I'm washing dishes. I don't have anything else to do. So I'll just think about you. I'll complain to you. I'll judge you. And I will tell you all the things that are wrong with you because I am right. In that moment, you are the one violating your own boundaries. They didn't come and do anything. They're sitting in their home doing whatever they are doing. But you pulling on to their energy, now you violated your boundaries. You invited somebody else in your energy field. So it might be very hard concept for some of you to learn. I know it was definitely hard for me to learn because it was just like, wait a minute, but they did something wrong. Right now, who's doing wrong to myself? Me. Right now, who's doing wrong to yourself? You are. It's not their fault. You're violating your boundaries. And I'll take you through a deeper dive into why we even do that. But just to introduce, it's all about the movement of energy. If you're pulling their energy in, the boundary has been violated. They don't even have to call and yell at you or send you a text message to violate your boundary. You already did it. Your energy is leaking. You're boiling inside of you. You're getting drained. You're not even able to do something anymore because you're so sucked into what happened yesterday or what might happen tomorrow, and you're consistently arguing with them. So that is when you get in control of who you allow in your energy field. It doesn't happen when they send you an invitation and you're like, I don't allow these kind of people in my energy field, so I am not going. That is way after what I'm talking about. When every single day you become in control of who you allow yourself to think about, to complain to in your head, to judge, and to have an invisible argument with. When you are in control of that, that is when you have created healthy boundaries. Now you have created a boundary around your vessel because you have raised your standard for yourself. That is where you have said, no one can enter my energy field, even in my thoughts. It's very easy to do it physically. It's very easy. We live in a world where everybody lives in their home. We are not living in like, community homes. You can just disconnect. You can go off social media. You can change your phone number. Here you go. Nobody's going to reach out to you. But what are you going to do when you're going to sit there, think about them, judge them, argue with them, have invisible conversations with them? What are you going to do with that? Because that is where you're violating your boundaries. No one else is doing that to you. That is how we take responsibility of who we are being in that moment. If you don't own yourself, if you don't take responsibility of what you're allowing yourself to think, who you're allowing yourself to have invisible conversations with, no matter how many lines in the sand you draw, you will keep getting depleted because you will always find somebody who did something to you. Because what's happening after the incident, you're sitting home marinating on that. In that marination, you are violating your own boundaries because you don't have high enough standard for yourself whose energy field you are feeding off of. Now, that is the next point I'll be talking about, and that is going to be another hard pill to swallow, that what we do to ourselves and how dependent we make ourselves on other people's energy. The reason we are inviting other people's energy, even after the incident is done, because we are somewhere deep down unconsciously seeking their validation. And when they don't validate who we are, that in other words is they don't respect who we are. In other words, that is they don't validate who we are, we feel violated. Well, why do we need someone else's validation to begin with? Why cannot we validate ourselves? Again, goes back to because we have not created a boundary within ourselves, who we allow within and who we don't allow within. Magic happens in your inner world, not in the physical world. Physical world is just a mirror to what is happening within you. So if you feel like people don't value your boundaries, you have told everybody, hey, do not call me after 9 p.m. Don't do this. And they keep doing it and they keep showing to your home. They keep sharing their opinion with you. You have not created that boundary within you yet. That's why that keeps happening. And you might say, no, Alia, I have done it. That is where I'll challenge you, my friend. Get a little bit more honest with yourself, just a little bit more. And you'll be able to see those unconscious thoughts where you're having those unconscious argument with them. the reason I'm smiling because I catch myself every single day doing it, and then I just smile because I live in my inner world. I'm always digging deeper. I'm always looking, turning stones, like where there's more darkness hidden within me that I can use the day of today to transform it into light. If we are not owning ourselves to that level, if we are not taking responsibility of our own existence to that level, we will always find something to complain about, somebody else to judge. But who needs to do that work? We have to. No one else can do that for you. So I'm going to share kind of like 4 points with you in terms of how can you create these healthy boundaries, but everything is going to lead to you doing that for yourself. It's not going to really require physical actions. It is going to require internal non-physical actions. So the first one is getting familiar with quality of your energy field and the impact that gets created on it by the trigger. So let me just, explain what that means. When someone calls you and they say something to you, if your energy field in that moment is really high, no matter what they will say, you won't get bothered. That is what I want to share with you. Now, what creates that level of higher energy field is your thoughts, your words, your actions. If today you're thinking low about yourself and about everybody else, you're speaking low about yourself and everybody else, and you're just sitting there not doing anything for yourself or for other people, you're not sharing yourself with yourself or other people, you're going to feel so down. We all have had those days, and it's okay to have those days. We're feeling down. And then somebody calls you and they say something which they didn't even mean the way you took it. Now you're pissed and you're like, my boundaries have been violated. You don't have the right to say this to me. Now you're getting escalated. You're going into anger. You're going into fear, trying to control, trying to manipulate them, trying to guilt trip them where you are. You're in darkness. Your energy field was very low to begin with. So first, I invite you to just close your eyes and feel the energy field around you. If you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Alia, imagine you are stepping outside of your body. Imagine your running hand around you. If there is a liquid or matter or something around you, is it thick? Is it soft? Is it light? What color it is? What texture it is? That is connecting with your own energy field. That is a non-physical sense every single one of us can develop. And the more you develop your connection with it, the more you'll be aware, hey, right now I'm thinking this judgmental thought about myself, my energy is dropping. And if it's dropping, when someone else is going to say it, you're going to get hit even more because you already had it at home. You already had it within you. So if you want to save yourself from other people's violating your boundaries, stop saying those judgmental things to you. And your feel would be higher. If someone else would say that thing, it would not bother you. We all have seen people who pretend they are not bothered by anybody's opinion of them, and people who truly don't get bothered by other people's opinion. There's a difference. Most of us, we pretend to have thicker skin, but there are some people who have done the inner work that they don't even have to have a thicker skin. That's just who they are. That is how you truly create healthy boundaries between you and other people, because you know where you start, where you end. So the reason we are like, our energy field gets impacted this way, because now this is the next hard one. We are addicted to other people's energy. So you know that problematic sibling that you have that you rather not talk to, but then somehow you end up talking to, you're addicted to their energy. In today's day and age, with self-development being more accessible, like, all the reels and all the YouTube videos that are available, and people who are just window shopping for ideas or window shopping for what resonates with them, we have entered the age of a lot of labels. And some of the labels we use is energy vampires. So it would be like, these are the signs of energy vampire. That is where I differ. I have a different opinion in that area. If I can consider somebody an energy vampire, I am an energy vampire myself. Because if I have the need to blame you, that must exist within me. I am violating my own energy by sucking on someone else's energy, by feeding off of another person's energy. Now I need somebody to blame, so I'll blame that person that they are sucking my energy. But who's inviting them in my thoughts? Who's inviting them in the complaining, in the judgment? I am. So my friend, when it's so much easier to label other people, how bad they are, how we love to complain and judge about them, it's actually us, ourselves, that we need to hold ourselves accountable. If I am in a toxic relationship with somebody, I am dependent on their toxicity. I need to pull their energy in to my field, complain about them, judge about them, have invisible arguments with them, and that makes me feel in control and in safety because that's all I know how to be. I never learned how to depend on my own energy. I don't even know where my energy field is. That's how most of us are living. And then we go and we label other people. When we start to connect with our own energy field, and when we start to become familiar with that, when we create those higher standards that I'm not going to think about someone else, I'm not going to complain in my head, which is one of the hardest thing you would learn. I'm not going to judge myself. I'm not going to judge other people. I'm going to maybe take a neutral stance on life. When we get to that level, that is when we start to feel what is my own energy field. And when you create that connection, then you don't need to suck other people's energy by complaining about them and judging them. So who's the energy vampire? Each and every one of us who have hard time with our boundaries. And that is something you'll be developing for the rest of your life. So don't be fooled by, oh, I have really good boundaries. I don't need to do that work. This is every single day work, because every single day you'll be a different level of darkness within you would resurface to be transformed into light. If today you think you're all light, that is another illusion that we love to live in sometime, here and there. Um, so the second thing I want to invite you to ask yourself, whose energy do you depend on? Is it your mom's? Is it your dad's? Is it your spouse? Is it your kids? Is it a sibling? Is it a friend? When you're feeling down, who do you pick up the phone and call? For me, it's one of my sibling I used to call. And then as I started creating these inner layers within me, now I don't. When I go down and I am sometimes even like, clicking on the name, I pause and I ask myself, why do I need to talk to her? What is it that I'm seeking in this moment? Can I give myself that? So I allow myself to get to the other side, and then I allow myself to call whoever I want to call and talk. That is how we learn not to depend on other people energy. Of course, there would be days that you're on a slippery slope and you really need someone to ground you. That's okay. But be mindful of what you are doing. Do not think that you're so independent in your energetical boundaries, you have healthy boundaries, and then and the first sign of trouble, you're picking up the phone, calling somebody and venting to them, complaining to them. And you've been complaining about the same thing for past month. That is a problem that is within you that requires shifting. And sometimes we've been complaining about the same thing for decades. That is definitely not something we want to complain about anymore. We want to work on transforming that within us. So as you get used to feeling your own energy field, I will invite you whenever you have the urge to call and complain to somebody about whatever happened, like this person again violated your boundary, and you want to call and complain about it. Sit there and just feel your energy field around you. Feel what is the quality of your energy field today? Is there a color to it? What texture it is? I can tell you from the first time I felt my energy field till today, there has been a lot of transformation. And day to day, it can differ. It can be different when I wake up in the morning. It can be different when I am like, going to bed because now I'm carrying all the things that happened in the day. It's a very good habit to start feeling your own energy. Because every time you're becoming aware of your energy, you're building another layer of strength to it. You're building another layer of strength to it. So it will be hard for someone else to tell you who you are when you would know who you are. When you go beyond seeking somebody's validation, a person can come and they can unload all their fears, their stresses, and they will label it, hey, I really love you. I care about you. I worry about you. That's why I'm saying this. You will not get impacted by it because you are in touch with who you are. You don't need their energy. You don't need their validation. You can tell them with all the love in that moment that, hey, thank you so much for sharing this, but I don't need your worries for me. I don't need your fear for me. I'm good. It got me. That is how we release other people from carrying our burden too, when we start carrying our own burden, when we are not sucking their energy into our field. So just wanted to introduce that right there. Um, Another thing you can do, so this is point 3, if you really want to protect yourself from, let's say you're surrounded by some very crazy people, whatever is going on in your life, and you really need to create boundaries and they are just bothering you and you're the most innocent person, but they're still bothering you. I know these are the kind of thoughts that goes on in our mind sometimes. This is very internal conversation we have with ourselves that are invisible and nobody knows. So that would be creating an energy protection field around you. Now, this is a concept, it is taught in many spiritual communities, religious communities, ask for protection, protection from God. I practice Islam in my own personal life. And there's so many, parts of the Quran that you can recite to create that protection for you. Um, Two things that I want to talk about here. One of the thing is most of us, we recite those protection field things or protection verses, but we don't believe in them. So then again, we get hurt and harmed by other people and we're like, oh, this is not working. The problem is that no matter what we do, if we are not doing it with the conviction, it's not going to create the energy field around you. That's where I personally really enjoy learning the our psychic self-defense, where I truly learned if the faith is not there, nothing is going to work. Most of us, we are living as robots, um, verbalizing things that we don't really believe in. And again, some people get very offended by it. What do you mean? My faith is weak. That is where individually we have to do self-check-in and we have to be, it's our responsibility to become honest with ourselves. But if you're reciting everything and again, crazy people are coming in your life, the faith is not there. The second aspect of the same thing is, yes, you can maybe create an energy field and you can protect yourself from, let's say, dark forces, whatever you believe in, but how would you protect yourself from your own inner darkness? That is the question. When you are thinking bad about other people, you have violated the energy field yourself, because now what you have done, you have stepped into your darkness. As soon as you stepped into your darkness, that energy protection comes off because that is light. If you're going to bring darkness in that area or you're stepping into your darkness, where is light going to do? It's our job to stay plugged into our own inner light to feel the protection of light. So one of the ways I'm going to help you create it is creating a field of love. Now, remember in the beginning, I said, when you go beyond the level of judging other people and stop judging yourself and stop judging other people, that is where you truly create beautiful energetical boundaries. And when you create this field of love around you, and when you start sending other people love, I'm not talking about emotion of love. I'm not talking fall in love with them or praise them or say they are the best people in the world. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about sending them universal love. When you see a beautiful flower, you feel something. That is universal energy of love. That is the energy that created you and me. That is the love our Creator, the higher power, feels towards us. And that is the love you can feel for another human, even if they have hurted you in the craziest way possible. You can feel that love for them. You have the capacity to feel that love for them only when you feel that love for yourself. If you don't feel that love for yourself, you think there's something wrong with you, it's impossible for you to feel that level of love, that energy of love for another human being. So when you start seeing yourself in the light of love, it becomes impossible for someone to violate your energy field. It becomes impossible for them to violate your energetical boundaries if they are, my friends, still are being violated in your world. Love yourself more, accept yourself more, own yourself more, trust yourself more, and you'll see the magic around you. Other people will most likely leave you alone. They'll come and poke your field, and you'll just realize, okay, thank God my field is strong enough that if someone pokes it, it's not completely sending me into chaos. So how we're going to do it? Very easy. Just close your eyes, take a deep breath, bring your awareness to your heart. Imagine pink light coming out of your heart and creating a bubble around you. You can do it like a visualization like this, or you can just imagine there's a pink light bubble around you. But here's the trick. Don't think, oh, now this bubble is going to protect me from all the comments and thoughts of other people. First, we start with this bubble of love is going to transform my thoughts that are going for other people into love, my opinion of other people into love. Because it's not other people hurting us, we are hurting ourselves plus them. And then we love to blame them. You can take any scenario going on in your life and I can help you dissect it, how you're hurting yourself. So you can feel free to DM me. You can go to my website, aliajamalcoaching.com, and you can book a conversation with me, and I can show you how you're hurting yourself and not the other way around. So that is the third thing. You can create an energetical bubble of love. So you're filtering what you're sending out into love, and whatever is coming to you, you're transforming that into love as well. The last thing is giving yourself energy and love. So one of the things we talked about, that becoming aware of your energy field, and the last one is increase it. How can you strengthen it every single day? Even when you're feeling triggered, let's say somebody called you and they yelled at you and you're like, why this person is yelling at me? And you told them, I don't want to be talked that way. You hung up the phone and now you're bubbling inside. And now you're having the imaginary conversation with them. In that moment, your boundary has been violated. How we are going to strengthen it? We are going to give you your own validation, your own love, your own energy. So just rub your hands like this. There's 2 energy chakras here. We are increasing the energy. We are going to give you your own energy, your own love. So rub it, rub it, rub it. And when you feel a level of warmth between your hand, just go like this. And then any direction you want, go 10 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can definitely feel my body just went whoop. It melted like butter. This little act, this is how your body feels. It feels like, when an infant is crying and you pick them up and all of a sudden they are ooey gooey with you, they are stop crying. that is how your body is going to feel, the level of energy you just gave to yourself right now. So in this moment, you're not going to feel bothered by what someone else said. That, my friend, is creating a healthy boundary where you don't need someone else's validation. You don't need to suck their energy. You can feel your love for yourself. You can give yourself your energy. When you get to that level and you stop judging other people and stop complaining about them in your head or to other people, and you stop rehashing what happened yesterday and how it could have been different and you could have been somewhere else, that is when you create healthy boundaries that actually last. Otherwise, you'll cut off with somebody, you'll keep thinking about them. After 2 years, they'll come back into your life. You'll again have like some craziness going on, and then you'll cut off. When we cut off from other human, it hurts because we're not meant to be that way. We are one soul living in different bodies. When we get to that level of consciousness, when we can see, okay, I understand this person is on a very different path than me right now. So different that I don't think so we can talk every single day because we'll just keep, hitting each other on the wrong spots. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to love this person. I'm not going to judge this person. I'm not going to try to tell them they are wrong and I'm right, but I am going to send them love from a distance. And they can live, they can exist, and I can also exist. When we part ways with that level of mindset, where if we run into them, we can still smile at them and we can say hello to them. We don't have to become buddy buddies with them. When we do things at that level, that is when we are not leaking energy from our container. Because now our container has been reinforced from within, not from outside in, from within. Because we have transformed ourselves. We have become a different version of ourselves. That is when no one can come and topple you down. That is no comment, no phone call, no text message, no email can have an impact on you because you're grounded in your own true essence, not in fake labels, not in pride, not in ego. Unfortunately, most of the boundaries advice comes from a place of ego, that I am right, you're wrong. No, my friend, we both are same, just living in a different plane of existence in this given moment. And very rarely you'll find a person who'll be exactly at the same space as you are. Because we all are unique and we're supposed to have our own unique experiences, but we are supposed to remember we all come from oneness. Our source is one, our creator is one. We all have existed before in a non-physical way, and we will exist again in a non-physical way. But in this moment, we are in a physical presence, triggering each other. But the more we focus on the truth that we are love and we are one and we all are light, the more we focus on that and we move through that consciousness as we go about our day, that is where we are going to create boundaries that are healthy for all, not just for you, for you and for other people. Because when you say that this person is not good for me, you're not good for that person either. And we don't realize that if things are not going good in your side, things are not going good on your side. That's why things are just bubbling up. So own yourself, live with that inner integrity, and you will never have problem with your boundaries or boundaries issues. So that is all, my friend, for today. If this is something you want to heal through, you want to do this inner work, you can always reach out to me. You can DM me. You can go to my website, aliajamalcoaching.com, and you can book a conversation with me. And that is all for today. I'll see you next time with another topic of Lost Circle. See you next Thursday. Sending you love. Bye.